Hi, welcome to this episode of White Glove Geography. Today we're looking at the Urban Issues and Challenges section, which is about Stoke-on-Trent, and we're looking at a 6-mark question, which is about the environmental opportunities in a UK city. Here's the information page on the environmental opportunities, which is specifically about something called urban greening, which is the process of increasing and preserving open space such as public parks and gardens in urban areas. If you haven't yet seen this, feel free to pause now, read through it and maybe look at the QR codes if you can scan those. And here we've got the question, which is evaluate the impacts of urban greening upon people and the environment. So at this point, if you want to write the question down, feel free to annotate the question. The first bit is evaluate, which is weigh up the evidence and reach a conclusion. The word impact simply means the effects of something. Somewhere in your work you'll show you know what urban greening is. You don't need to write the definition, just weave it into your question somewhere so it's obvious you know what it means. Finally, people and the environment. Give a balanced range of impacts upon people and the environment. Don't just focus on one, make sure you do some about people, some about the environment. Here's our support structure, which is the evaluate. In the yellow box we've got in the centre, which is looking at the positives, looking at the negatives, and also then weigh up your decision at the end. Write a conclusion. And if you can, write mini conclusions as well at the end. On the right hand side, you've got some information there, some sentence starters. So things like the main advantage of, this is because, this is shown by. You've then got disadvantages, so the main disadvantages of, this is shown by, and then of course the mini conclusion. This is important, successful, effective, significant, those kind of words, and of course your overall conclusion. If you find the command words a little bit confusing, so they all kind of merge into one, so to what extent, assess, evaluate, all those, feel free to use the multi-tool structure, and that is on the next slide. Now here we've got the multi-tool structure. This one does not change, so at the bottom left in the blue box you can see this is great for words like discuss, assess, explain, evaluate, to what extent. It's not perfect, but it'll get you a good way towards the answer. As you've noticed, it's actually based upon evaluate. This is exactly the same with a couple of tweaks as the evaluate slide you just saw. So if you can evaluate, you're pretty close to most of the other words. Of course, we keep talking about assessment objectives, AO1, AO2, AO3. AO1, do you know good geography stuff? AO2, do you understand the stuff? Can you explain it? AO3, conclusions. So AO1 is about geography words, place names, examples, including data. AO2, words like this means that, this results in, and knock-on effect of this is, due to, because, so, those kind of words. AO3, including words like significant, important, effective, successful. Those are decision words, so if you're using those somewhere in your conclusion, that's going to give you a good answer. So in terms of your structure here, Section 5A, the environmental opportunities. The question is, as we've seen before, evaluate the impacts of urban greening upon people and the environment. Your first sentence or two will be your introduction. Name your place, give the example, show that you know what urban greening is. Paragraph 2, so maybe 2 or 3 sentences. Look at the positives and negatives upon people, the impacts upon people. Make sure you've got in there AO1, AO2, AO3 or mini conclusion, significant, effective, successful, important, those kind of words. Paragraph 2, positive and negative impacts upon the environment. So this one's just about the environment. Again, use AO1, AO2, explain your words. And of course AO3, your mini conclusion. So words like significant, effective, successful. And then of course your overall conclusion, your overall summary. Make your decision. You're going to use one of these words at the end, significant, important, effective, successful, in your conclusion. It might also be nice to include one of the maybe short term or long term. Maybe also look at the social impacts, so that's about people, and look at the environmental impacts, because of course that's a word from the question. Here you've got the question. This is the kind of space that you would have, maybe 10-12 lines to explain yourself, and when you look at it, the first couple lines is going to be your introduction, the last 3 lines is going to be your conclusion, which leaves us about 7 lines left, which is quite tight to fit in your information, so you can see you've got to be really focused. Here's the mark scheme. These can be difficult to interpret, but we generally have level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 makes brief statements. Level 2, you've got a clear understanding, and level 3, you've got a detailed understanding. So it would be pretty similar to actually what you see in a textbook. Here's a sample answer. So, urban greening has had a large positive impact on people of Stoke-on-Trent through the 5.8 million redevelopment of Hanley Park, as it provides new facilities to enjoy the green space, which is important for the local inner city, they being able to enjoy the area. Urban greening also had a positive impact upon the environment at the Festival Park site. This was a former steelworks and has now retained many of the natural features alongside the offices and shops. This is significant for attracting wildlife. In conclusion, I think that urban greening has a positive impact upon people in the short term when they visit the area, and also in the long term benefits for the local residents. So you can see in there we've got the introduction, impact upon people, impact on the environment, and a conclusion. And it's quite short, and we've definitely got AO1, AO2, AO3. When you've done your work, see if you can identify the AO1, AO2, AO3. So here we can see the AO1, that's in pink, we've got the AO2, that's in the orange, and we've got the AO3, the decisions, and that's in green. And again, when you've done your work, see if you can separate out the information that you've got here. So introduction, people, environment, and finally your conclusion. See if you can separate out those things. Have you included everything that you need to?